In this lesson, we'll be rendering the graphs. Okay, so I want to point out something that I noticed between lessons, and that was that anything that had that scale animation that took it from 0 to 100 needed to have a display tag added to it. So we talked about that a little bit in the last lesson, but I actually had to go in between lessons, and all of these pieces of text here that scaled on got a display tag, and also in the bar graph, these two coins got a display tag. So if you don't add a display tag, your final render is going to have some strange artifacting right back here at the world 0 coordinate. And it's just kind of a strange thing that happens with that sort of scale animation. So watch out for that. Add your display tags to turn off the visibility completely until you're ready for it to show up. So I would actually say this time, instead of having the display tag 1 before your first keyframe, have the 100% key overlap with your first key in your movement. So that's just to be safe. So now we've got our pie chart and then our bar and line graphs all ready to be rendered. So what I would say is, go through always and just double check your render settings. Make sure that you have the physical renderer turned on for all of them. Make sure everything is saving in the right place. And when you're positive that you've got everything perfect, you'll just want to go to your render queue, see if anything is already in there. And if it's not, then you'll be ready to add. If there are other things in there that you don't want anymore, I usually just like to clear it out before I'm about to do a big render. So I'll go in there and choose Add to Render Queue. And then I would just want to make sure that those output paths were all correct. So this looks good. Now, one of the things I notice is that I've already set up a bunch of renders that have gone in here just with some different little previews and things like that. So I will usually go in and any TIFFs that I've created, I'll delete them. So we may want to do that now. It's just because we had it set up to save before. So I'll just grab your reference files folder and we'll go into your graph renders and delete all of your TIFFs, just so you're kind of starting with a fresh, clean slate. And then you can also see, just watch back actually a few of the pieces that you created for your previews. So you can kind of see some of the errors that I ran into that I was talking about with needing those display tags. So you can see how we've got that weird little artifacting there. And then there, I added the display tag, but it was not coming on for as long, but it was still there. That one, we got it right. And that one, you can see that coin pops up over here, but before that, it's kind of just hanging out over there at the world 0 coordinate looking really strange. So we don't need those anymore, but if you wanted to keep them, you certainly could. Okay, so now our place is ready. We've got all of that stuff cleared out of our graph renders folder. So you can just go ahead and say save bargraph.tiff already exists. Do you want to replace it? Yes. So you can just say yes to that. And also another thing that you'll want to do in your render settings, another good reason to remember to check it, is that this is still set to current frame for the output. So you will want to change that to all frames. Okay, so that's very, very important. And just to be safe, we'll go ahead and re-add that to the render queue. And it's going to ask us if we want to save the changes. So we can say yes. And that will just add that saved version to your render queue. Now, all we have to do, now that we've added the bar graph, is go back into our line graph project, go into our render settings, make sure that the output is set to all frames. We'll save it. I can just hit Control S to save over that. And then we'll go to Render, Add to Render Queue. And you can see now I've got 2 of them in my render queue. Then I'll do the last one, which is the bar graph. check out those render settings, change it to all frames, also making sure I've got the physical renderer set up there, and we'll add it to the render queue. And because we made a change, you can go ahead and save that. And then when you're ready, you just want to make sure all of those are checked on, and then you'll come up here and hit start rendering, and then it will begin rendering out your projects for you. And then you can take those different passes that it will create for you into a compositing software and really begin to put that together and put it with your other motion graphics piece that you may be using, that you're incorporating those graphs with. So thank you so much for watching the course, and good luck in creating this on your own.